Hi everybody, this is a comparison between ConvertKit and Substack. All right, so um, I I think this is a very good comparison between these two creator marketing platforms, right? Because Substack is insanely popular, right? And ConvertKit is insanely popular as well, right? The question really is, which is better for whom, right? Is Substack, better, it's probably meant for a certain set of people and their offerings reflect that. ConvertKit is probably better for a certain set of people and reflect that, right? So I'm just going to kind of share. And a lot of the research that I did, between these two tools was also kind of for myself. So I'm a creator and I was kind of thinking about, figuring out which platform to use, be it ConvertKit or Substack. And so I thought I would give you a very good overview of both the platforms, their pros and cons, and then kind of help you make the decision. All right. So let me just kind of first take you through ConvertKit, right? So ConvertKit is, like they say, it's a creator marketing platform, but it's a very mature marketing platform. And I think the major thing that they kind of focused on initially was just giving you a lot of tools to help you grow your audience, right? um, and then they basically started expanding their product from there, and then now they've basically split their product into four parts. All right, so it starts with grow more, which is kind of all of the features, for helping you grow your audience, right? Be it different form options to put on your blogs and landing pages and all of that, subscriber management, and all sorts of things you can do there. The second aspect is send, which is everything about engaging with your subscribers, right? And for anybody who knows how to build your audience, it's not about getting all of the emails in a list. It's also engaging with them actively so they remember you and don't unsubscribe when you kind of message them like 6 months later, right? So the send module allows you to kind of has features to send you like one-time broadcast emails, set up sequences. Like, for example, if a new email subscribes to your list, you can set up an onboarding sequence to kind of basically take them through all of your best content pieces over like 7 weeks, and basically convert a cold lead into a warm lead, right? um and then from the engagement feature, they start offering you automation features, which is to kind of reduce a lot of the manual work, while managing this audience, right? So you can set up like complex automations, like if this happens, then like a certain trigger can be created, right? So for example, if a subscriber clicks on a product link and purchases a product, they can automatically be moved into a product upsell sequence, and then they'll automatically get emails there, right? Or if somebody has gone through a Black Friday campaign, a tag can be removed, like all sorts of those sequences. And then they provide a lot more features, like within that, like within automations you can also set up automated newsletters, via like RSS feeds of other blogs. So there's a lot you can do there. You can also kind of integrate with some of the more famous like creator softwares, an online course software like Teachable or Thinkific. You can integrate with them. You can integrate with, like, there's a lot of integrations that are available. And then the last module that they have is Earn, which is all of the features to monetize your content. So you can monetize your content through, your own set of digital products that you can sell through ConvertKit. You can set up like tip jars, which is more like, donation links, or like buy me a coffee links, where you can basically ask people to, just, donate for, all of the awesome content you're reading, and then, you can kind of do something. So more like a Patreon kind of offering, right? And that's essentially ConvertKit, right? So it's grow, send, automate, earn. Now within that, they provide a lot of awesome features, like A/B testing of subject lines and all of that, right? So if you're interested to see a full overview of the platform, you can basically click somewhere here, and I'll link to my ConvertKit review video, which is kind of like a full, very long, very descriptive overview of the ConvertKit platform and all of the features that are in there. But I think overall, like my assessment with ConvertKit, like I think the pros are, that I think it's a very mature platform, right? With all of the features that you need to kind of, grow your audience and engage with it. You don't really need to use um, other tools and, all of that. It's also, it's also, applicable, if you're not just a newsletter creator, but you want to sell digital books, and you want to create subscription services, or if you're a marketing team that just wants to manage your marketing email subscribers, like it's for it's for a very large case of users without making the interface very complex. um and then it has like all sorts of features within it that make it super um unique, right? So for example, you can basically set up a lot of beautiful looking forms with a lot of different variations. If you want to put a top bar, if you want a sidebar, or if you want if you want a pop up based on exit intent, like all of that is possible within ConvertKit. um and like overall, I think it's a pretty solid platform, like great support. And I think one of the best things about ConvertKit is that if you're moving from another platform to ConvertKit, their team actually provides free migration support. So they will literally migrate everything, from your email subscribers to your automations to your forms to like literally everything, and you can basically just start, like no change happened. So I think those are kind of like the pros about ConvertKit, right? I think the cons are generally that first is, I think it's a paid platform, and the pricing basically scales as your number of subscribers increases, right? So for 1,000 subscribers, I think it's something like $29 a month. But then if it scales and you get to 50,000 subscribers, the cost escalates to something like $200 a month, and then it keeps going up, right? um so I think that is one. Then the other, I think, con with it is that you can't really, I think, like if you compare it with Substack, right, like the interface is slightly more difficult, right? Like like Substack is super easy to use, but ConvertKit kind of is slightly harder, I'd say. But I think it doesn't take too long to get used to it. But just wanted to kind of compare that. Then I think in terms of like newsletters, right? It's not a very powerful platform, right? The only thing that they have that's pretty good is like this RSS integration. So basically, what you can do is you can set up a newsletter to be sent out, regularly, maybe like every Monday of every week. And then you basically put an RSS feed of like a blog, and then it'll automatically it'll basically auto generate a newsletter digest, right? So if you have a blog, you have an RSS feed, you just give the RSS feed, and then every Monday your subscribers will get like, an automatically created email with all your, newest published pieces, right? Which is pretty cool because it kind of automates the newsletter digest. But like if you have to regularly send a very highly curated, manually curated newsletter, you actually have to create basically a broadcast every single time, a broadcast to set of users. And you can obviously schedule it at a future date, but there's no like a recurring newsletter kind of feature as such. And then I think the other thing is that while it allows you to sell digital products and everything, you can't really, it's not a publishing platform, so you can't really publish content in here and like basically paywall it. You can't make it that if there are like 100 newsletter editions, like 70 are accessible only to the paid subscribers, and only 30 are accessible for free. So that unfortunately isn't possible. I think they're testing it out. They're trying to get something in the works, right? So I noticed within the product section that they're kind of coming up with subscriptions, but it's I don't think it's still to the level of Substack, right? So my assessment with Substack, with ConvertKit, sorry, is that I think it's a great platform for everybody except newsletter creators, right? I mean, it's a great platform for newsletter creators as well, and they've got some good templates. But I think like it's probably better off, if you're a blogger or a podcaster or a vlogger or a content-led business who's just trying to, grow their audience, then I think it's a better fit for you. The second thing I feel ConvertKit is better for is because it's an expensive platform. Um, it's probably best for like the serious creators, the serious businesses who are already making some money, and want to really kind of scale and like are very serious about their business, right? If you're somebody who runs a newsletter and just runs it for the just to kind of build an audience, but you haven't really monetized that newsletter yet. I wouldn't recommend ConvertKit, right? Like because the costs will add up as your subscribers will increase, right? So it's probably better than to kind of go with Substack, right? Now let's kind of just quickly go through Substack just to kind of understand how it is, right? So this is just a sample dashboard of like a Substack newsletter, right? The platform is again it's fairly simple. It's actually simpler than ConvertKit. They've divided into posts. You can have a podcast. You can do subscriber management. You can see the statistics, and then some general settings. So you can basically whenever you have to do, you can just click on new post or new episode or even a new video, right? So you can create vlogs, you can create posts, you can create episodes. I'm not still very confident on publishing like full length blog posts in Substack because I feel like you wouldn't get a lot of SEO benefits. So I wouldn't kind of focus on just that. But if you want to kind of like my newsletter emails are like I would say like summary versions of my blog posts, right? So I kind of cater to that, right? And then you can see like certain statistics for like every newsletter that went out, right? So let me just kind of give you a preview of the kind of things that they show you, just which is actually pretty useful to be honest. um, so you can see your total traffic and sources, right? Like where are you getting your subscribers from, and all of that. You can see the performance of every email, right? So when it was sent out, how many deliveries happened, what is the open rate, um, you know, if you had a paid subscription or if you have a free subscription, like it gives you all of that data, right? You can also see, if there's, where do you get your subscribers from, right? Like I got 20% of my subscribers from Substacks, platform features. Um, you know, like you can basically just do some analysis in here. And then it also gives you some insights about, what other newsletters are your subscribers kind of using, are also kind of subscribe to, what location they're coming from. And the reason why I like this is because I think Substack's major strength is that it's their own internal community, right? It's like it's a community of creators and consumers of the content, and it's all like put together in like this huge ecosystem. And now you have like cross data that you can kind of go through. You can if somebody subscribed to one blog, sorry, one newsletter, another newsletter can kind of be recommended in like person A's newsletter, right? So like it just allows you to do that, right? So for example, like, I can set up recommendations for other newsletters. Like if it's a friend or somebody I do like a cross promotion partnership, I can recommend other Substack publications, so both them and I kind of benefit from getting more subscribers from each other, right? And then it also allows you for subscriber management, right? Like you can see which are kind of like the free subscribers, the paid subscribers. More importantly, you can set up like paid tiers, right? Like for example, for paid folks, you can have like paid posts and everything, right? Like these are all very unique features to Substack. It does some kind of lead scoring, which you can see here. It like it basically gives you a lot of data. And then, like, let's say, for example, I want to go into each subscriber's thing, so you can see which emails did they receive, which emails did they open, receive, all of that, right? So very good, analytics and everything that you would need. And then, they also allow you to kind of customize the URL. I'm using a Substack one, but I can actually use a personal domain as well. Like, I can use my own domain, which is, I think, a one-time fee of like $50 for that, right? Now, in terms of pricing, Substack is completely free. I think they take like 10% fee if you run a paid newsletter. If you run a free newsletter, um, it's completely free, right? No matter how many subscribers, right? So in terms of like pricing, right? Like, of course, Substack is, well, it's free, and ConvertKit is paid, right? But I think, like, I mean, so, like, I've already discussed like the pros of Substack, right? Like, it's a great paid newsletter platform. It's 100% free. It provides all of the features that newsletter runners would kind of need. They have their own community. That big internal community to kind of get subscribers and get data, and all that, right? But I think let me just kind of share some cons about Substack. I think the first thing is it's a very basic product, right? So, it's, I mean, it's great, fine. You can, yeah, run newsletters, but, for example, if you want to, be somebody, I don't know, who, wants to set up a sequence for somebody, an email sequence for somebody who subscribes to your blog, just to kind of, you know, um, familiarize them with all of the previous posts, right? You can't do that, right? You can't, like, they have forms to collect subscribers, but those forms are really, really bad. Like, I've used Substack forms and put them on my blog, and like, they're not even optimized for mobile, so they would break, and they're just not built to get subscribers from all there. Like, they provide that option probably because users requested for it, but like, their forms, or any kind of lead capture forms are just bad. Even, like, and they provide only very simple options. They don't provide pop-ups and all of that, right? So I think it's a very basic product, right? So my assessment overall, like, between ConvertKit and Substack, was that I think if you're somebody who wants to run a free newsletter, or somebody who is probably kind of building a content led business, but I mean, well, you're kind of building a content led project, but you're not really making money from it, then I would just continue using Substack. But if you're very serious about like monetizing your content, and really kind of building a content led business, I would consider ConvertKit, because ConvertKit is a far more mature product. It's been built by a creator, Nathan Barry, right? It's got all of the features you would need, and it's also like very applicable. Like, for example, like, newsletter is just one thing, right? Like, someday you're gonna want to expand to writing blogs, and you want to kind of create your own videos, you want to run your own podcast. And for all of those features, like, overall, I think ConvertKit seems more like an all-in-one you know software, while Substack doesn't feel like that, right? And even if it's whatever's the investment, right? Like, let's say, you know like, for $50 you get 8,000 subscribers in ConvertKit, right? $50 a month, right? That it's a lot more easier to monetize the audience there, right? Because they provide a lot of features, but for to help you sell products there to your audience, right? So you can set up like these sequences and like these automations, which remove all sorts of manual work and forget it. And as your subscribers increase, it's all about the conversion rate, like how many convert and buy a digital product that you've created, right? So ultimately it'll start paying for itself and then surpass it over time. So my assessment is generally this: for beginner creators, go for Substack. For advanced creators or people who are very serious about their business, go for ConvertKit. If you got some or any value out of this video, please consider buying ConvertKit through my sign up link. It will not cost you anything additional, but it will help support efforts like this. Like, it'll help me create more review videos, like, comparisons between tools to kind of help you make a decision on which tool to buy, right? And um, if you have any questions, right, about Substack versus ConvertKit, like, please drop them in the comments below, and I will try my best to answer each and every one of them, at the best of my abilities, right? I wish you all a wonderful day and take care. Thank you for listening in.